Hi Ben, this is Janice. I decided to do this, my final assignment for you, using the video record option. I wanted to have an opportunity to talk through and show you all of the changes that I've made. So here is the assignment that you've given to us, and in this video you can expect to hear a summary of the feedback I received, changes that I've made, and changes that I would like to make. Just on a quick side note, before the next time you teach this course, you may want to finish this idea. It would make it easier. Alright, moving on. This is a copy of the email message that Katie Essen sent to me. I captured it using Jing so that I could highlight items. She made 9 recommendations: punctuation, organization, a few errors, suggestions on hyperlinking things. She found a link that was not working, a spelling error, and other ideas. I actually included each one of her suggestions into my project. I also talked over and shared with Albert many of the different ideas, but none of that discussion is actually documented. Alright, let's move on and take a look at the course. Okay, first of all, here on the home page, I have changed the visual appearance of it. I haven't done much, I just enlarged the picture. But I also added a link to the modules page. I've noticed those type of hyperlinks on Wikipedia pages, and I found them very useful to take me directly where I need to go, rather than simply providing directions on how to get there. In the modules section, I have shifted things around and brought the computer forensics module up to the top. And I'm actually thinking about doing that throughout the course, simply shifting it around so that whichever the active module is the one that's on top. Going inside the module. Module objectives. First thing I did here in module objectives is I added a video. Let's take a look at that for a moment.
Hi, welcome to Computer Forensics. In this module, we're going to be describing computer forensics, learning about what it is to be a forensics examiner. We'll also be learning specific terms having to do with computers, and you will learn to use tools that a forensics examiner uses. Please read carefully through the content, language objectives, and assessments. Make sure that you are clearly aware of what is expected of you. Good luck!
Now you'll notice that the audio and video were off. I'm not quite sure why that happened. I recorded it 3 times, and in each time I had that slight off from the audio and video. If you have any suggestions on what causes that, I would be very interested in hearing them. Other than that, what I did is I changed this visually to make it a little more centered. I find that that looks a little bit less formal and a little bit less intimidating. Okay, moving on. Now, the only thing I changed in the what does a computer forensics expert do is I set it up so that you would have to post before you can see your posts. I find that it keeps students more honest. I know that it does me, because I am guilty, especially here in college, of running out of time to do a reading or something like that, going through on Angel, reading everyone else's posts, and then responding, not really from my own knowledge of the text, but because I can extrapolate other ideas from other people's writings. Moving on next. For the computer forensics timeline, first thing I did is I added a video.
Hi, your next assignment is going to be creating a computer forensics timeline. As you know from our earlier work, forensics has been around since the days of ancient Rome. Computers have not. Your job is to go online and research 10 of the most important advances in computer forensics. You will then go...
It goes on and explains what I see here in the text, that they'll need to go to TimeToast and create a timeline. Another thing that I added here, of course, was the TimeToast hyperlink, and then I also created a page for how to do the TimeToast. including a link to the page, and then screen capture images showing how to log in, create your timeline, title it, add events, and stuff like that. Now, a frustration that I had is that I captured each one of these images using Jing, but when I transferred those images into Canvas, they came out in this very low quality thumbnail type image. And when I tried to expand those images, they ended up being all pixelated and impossible to read. I actually tried doing it a number of different ways, and I don't know what step I missed somewhere. So if you have any suggestions, I would appreciate it, because I think that the images I captured and the instructions on them would be very helpful to students. But in this format, they're really not. All right, going back to modules and then back to our create a timeline. The last thing that I did in the timeline is I added a rubric. This will help the students to have a better idea of what I'm looking for and how they will be graded. Next, the definitions. For the definitions, I actually created a link to the Collaborations tab. And on the Collaborations tab, I created specific Etherpad documents linked to specific members of the course, so that they would then have their own specific document that they were working in and collaborating with to find and share the definitions of these terms. Once they have finished that, then I have also created a Quizlet, and I've provided a link for it here, on computer forensics. So this includes all of the terms, and they have the ability to go in and they can actually use this for helping them look up and understand the terms. They can use it to learn and test themselves. You know what Quizlet does. And I also included a rubric. Moving on next. The next thing I have here is their quiz. I made no changes in it. I also have the computer forensics PowerPoint here. I made no changes in that. I also made no changes in the podcast with Mr. Pease, nor in this review quiz. What I did go through and adjust this. It was not showing up because it was locked, and it took me a little bit of time to figure out how to get it unlocked. So those are the changes that I have actually made. For the final application, that is going to be one that's done in the classroom, where I hand them a hard drive and the software disk that they will need to then take to their desk, make a copy of it, log that information, just as they would in an actual forensics computer lab. So that is a summary of the changes that I have made. Changes that I would make had I time, leisure, and unlimited resources. First of all, I would go in on Photoshop and create some of those very visually stunning images that Ed has done, because I think that that adds a lot to the Canvas platform. I wish they did allow for a little bit more creativity in this particular platform as far as creating visually interesting things. I can see that it can be done, but it's not easy to do. In truth, I think for my audience and for the amount of time that I have, I'm not sure that I would do much of a change. I might add one more assignment in where they have to do some more research on their own, but I already think that this is fairly research intensive. It is certainly knowledge intensive, and I think I might be about pushing it as far as it can go for a simple 2-week section of a course. All right. I hope that I have covered the information for you. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Have a good day.